during my long COVID journey, I was becoming kind of depressed. Like, I didn't really know what was causing my illness, didn't really have a way forward, and I really started watching podcasts on YouTube. And I was watching a spiritual podcast called Next Level Soul that I love. And a guy named Billy Carson was on there. And he said, one of the things that he said, if you're one of those people that doesn't like modern music, well, go make your own music. There are these great AI apps that, like Suno, where you can literally turn your own words into great songs. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head.
Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast for this week. It's AI DIY. I'm the AI music guy. I just love interviewing people that are not huge famous. I've got Jared Earl here, creative Candyman Vibes. We probably don't know a lot about Candyman Vibes yet, but we're hoping to get them super famous through this thing. Really cool music. I love it. Jared, Candyman, tell me a little bit about yourself. Don't go into sports where you have now, but tell me a little bit about yourself, like who you've been, the career you sort of had, and then we'll get into why you've done AI music and all that as we go on.
Yeah, I have kind of done a little bit of everything. I started out while I was in college, working, normal 9-to-5 jobs. I pushed carts at the grocery store. I actually, one of my more interesting jobs is I worked as a bouncer at a bar, which a little terrifying, but also, fun and exciting. I got something different out of each job. And then once I started networking with local high schools. I've coached freshman basketball for a while. I wasn't the head coach, but I was like the assistant coach. And I did that on the side while I was working regular jobs. Then around 2021, I got a very severe case of COVID-19 that led me to be hospitalized for a few weeks. And then literally a year later to the day, I got another one and then another one. And it just took something. It took, COVID, it's like a mind, it's got a mind of its own. It takes something different away from you each time. If you have pre-existing health conditions, they can make them worse. I actually helped lead a support group for that on Facebook. So it's very personal for me about that, but it is also something that needs a lot of awareness. And also around that time, I started, I thought basketball was my passion. I thought that was my life at that time.
Yeah.
And so there was about a year's worth of time when I was depressed, didn't really do a whole lot. I couldn't do a whole lot physically. And
so how did COVID, I guess, incapacitate you in that way? And I do want to get into that other stuff.
Yeah, it caused. I'm sure I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but it's like atelectasis. I think it's my right lung is not all the way open, and there's severe inflammation in there. And it's basically like, you're breathing through a straw.
And that's ongoing? Is that ongoing for you?
It's ongoing. And like a lot of COVID patients, or long COVID patients, they don't really have a lot of answers. There's still a lot of research being done around the world. That's part of what I do on Facebook is try to promote awareness about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so really what you could all tell us is what that is, which I'm not, and for lack of locus is, I've definitely butchered it, and that there's not much information about it. Is that pretty much where it's at? Like, do they have they people come out of that before?
People do come out of it, but it's almost like it affects everybody so differently. Like, I have, I'm not, I don't really, there are some people I know around the world who still don't have taste
Yeah.
from their COVID, and then there are people who, like me, who have respiratory issues.
Yeah, I've known some people
Um,
that do that too. Yeah.
and I mean, we're talking about people who go on for who literally have been this way for years. I know somebody who's in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
um, but it's so inconsistent with how it affects people.
Yeah. It, and this is the thing I want to get to, and this is what I consistently want to get across when I do these interviews, because I like to do interviews with the people who are making AI music, and I want people to understand that it's everyday people. Everybody, is going through something, and and people have had something taken away. And in this case, like your basketball was what you thought was, your passion and your career, and that you thought that was sort of what your life. Like, tell us a little bit about that, because to me that's important, because I've had stuff, and I've had stuff in my life that I've thought was absolutely, the most important thing. And in some cases, I've sort of grown out of those things. When it's that natural progression has sort of happened, that's great. But when I've been in it, I've had like absolute fear that like my grassroots sports and stuff that I've played, or coaching and all that stuff, and I've just absolutely loved, and I've been in it, and I've like looked forward to it all the time. I go to baseball training, and I look forward to it all week in my games. And I always think, if that gets taken away, and during COVID I couldn't do any of that stuff, and I just had fear at the time. Like, what if this never ends? What if I can never go on park runs again? What if I can never coach again? So what was that like when you're in it? Like, that gets taken away from you.
It was very, very frustrating. And it was frustrating for the kids that I coached too, largely because, I mean, if you've coached before, you understand that the relationships you have with the people that you teach and the people that you're trying to build up are some of the most uplifting relationships that you're going to have in your life. Like,
Mm,
there are so many players that I coached. Even though I'm in the music world now, not just with AI, but I'm also working at a studio. And I'm being instructed on music technology.
beauty.
So I really went all in on music, and I still have players who have no connection to music who still reach out to me and cheer me on as I'm kind of going through this new journey.
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest thing that I miss. But it's just like anything else. There are positives and negatives with every field you could work in.
Yeah.
So I had to look at it from both lenses.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of cheering you on, I'm really hoping that this interview, I've got some really, really cool subscribers that are really good, like really good people that will consistently show up every week and cheer people on. And I saw that subscribers that you got on that channel is like 46, which is good. Like as soon as you get your first subscribers, like the biggest fist pump to yourself on the planet. So 46 feels pretty good, and over time you're going to get hundreds and then hopefully thousands. But I hope that the community that we've got here will come in, check your stuff out, and be part of that cheerleading section that you're sort of talking about. So I was gonna say, like, well, actually, I will. I'll ask that question first. Like you said, you're doing studio stuff. Obviously, you're doing AI music. Have you been musical in the past? Like, have you, like, I used to play trumpet in high school, so I can, to a point now, like, read sheet music, and I understand how to play drums, although I never had. I can look at some drum music, okay, I understand, blah, blah, blah. And I understand how timing works and all that stuff, and I'm sort of out of practice. Is that something that you've done up until this point? Like, did you go through high school being in bands, or a singer, or anything like that?
No, I didn't have any formal training, but When I first started getting into AI music, my mother told me that my music teacher in, I think it was second grade, thought that I had perfect pitch. And I'm like, wow, that would have been nice to know then.
Well, let's check it out. Why don't you sing it? Hum a few bars, Jared. No, don't.
No, no,
No,
no,
it's
no,
the microphone. No, no,
no,
that's
but
good. So you had something there. You had something there.
yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. I did teach myself how to play piano recently
Really?
with ChatGPT, and I use that to kind of learn the scales
Yeah.
and music theory,
Really?
and you know I've got pretty flexible fingers, so I know how to. And I think I took piano lessons like a lot of kids did
Yeah.
growing up, so I had a baseline to go with.
Yeah.
But now I just, you know, sometimes in the middle of the night when I'm struggling to sleep, I just go to my desk and play my piano.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack there, and I don't think I need to unpack it. I think people should be able to draw their own conclusions of that. Like some of the biggest complaints from, traditional musicians is that, it's fake and it's bullshit or whatever. But you're a case where, obviously from a young age, you sort of missed your opportunity, because you were involved in some music to a point. Your mother said, when you were a kid, you had something there, and now AI music's like sparked it back up. And there's so many varied examples that I get through my website that come through my inbox that are just like that. So it draws you back to music. It draws you to reintroducing yourself to the piano. You're playing scales, your music theory, and that wouldn't have happened. And okay, well, now's a good segue to that. Like you told me there was a specific point that pushed you to AI music. Tell us about that.
Yeah, during my long COVID journey, I was becoming kind of depressed. Like I didn't really know what was causing my illness. I didn't really have a way forward, you know. And I really started watching podcasts on YouTube, and I was watching a spiritual podcast called Next Level Soul that I love, and a guy named Billy Carson was on there, and he said, you know, one of the things that he said, if you're one of those people that doesn't like modern music, well, go make your own music. There are these great AI apps that, you know, like Suno, where you can literally turn your own words into great songs. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head because I've always been a student of culture and music and movies and things like that.
Mm.
And once went down the AI rabbit hole of music, I was like, oh, this is cool. I can bring these artistic ideas that I've had for years to life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then what was the first thing you did?
Uh, the first the first thing I did is, unfortunately, I tried a lesser known AI music app. It's called AI Song, I think, and it wasn't quite as good as Suno, but I was still getting a lot of value out of it. I still was able to type my own lyrics, and I think the first set of lyrics I wrote was called "Before You Find Your Way."
Yeah.
It was kind of a blues rock song, and I've always been. I give my parents a lot of credit for this. They always exposed me to great movies and culture and a lot of great music over the years. So I had a lot of really good people and a lot of great ideas to pull from.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's the best way. Obviously, influences different, and people have different sort of writing methods and stuff that they sort of pull from. And I'm the same. I've always been into all sort of different art forms and creativity and stuff that blows my mind. And some of your stuff was good. Like I had, was it the I had a song. that I liked of yours. The one that you sent me.
The Web Below.
Yes, the web below. That was fantastic. That just moves so well. So there's a couple things. You've mentioned faith a couple times. So I want to get into that a little bit too, because there was one song that seemed to be vaguely pointing towards some faith. Not too direct. It was a good vague enough to be a song to make people think without having to throw in your face. But that web below is just it's like a really cool song, man. Like I started playing. Like sometimes I'll play songs, right? And because
Yeah.
I've got so many songs I get through, I'll have it just playing in the background, and I'll sort of start typing out the reply as I'm listening. And I'm listening to your side, and I'm going, oh, and I'm tapping my foot, and I'm going good. And then I'm like, okay, now I had to go back and basically pay attention. It was a good song. And then I basically went to a couple more of your songs, and I went, this dude gets it. He writes good lyrics because they're not like in your face. Well, not in your face. They're not overly obvious. They're vague enough to be poetry, right? And you
Right.
figured out how to make the software good to make good songs as well. And a lot of people will nail one or the other. Like I'll get poets that like their words are great, but when they they put that stuff in Suno, like maybe they don't understand fully like what a good song is, like how musically it good, or maybe they're so excited to have their poetry coming out as songs because a lot of people tell me they've had that poem for like 40 years, that they sort of rush it out. But you sort of get both. Like tell us about your process so people can learn. I would love people to learn about your process because if you're watching this, you definitely go check out Candyman Vibes and listen to his stuff. It's a good example. And Jared, like definitely tell us your process of that and what you think through and what you go through and your iterations and all that.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting story. I was severely dyslexic growing up, and I had a very good teacher who literally taught me the English language in pieces. Like she taught it to me through roots, syllables, prefixes, and literally taught it to me in exquisite detail. And one of the things that I've learned from listening to, tremendous artists, you know, is that their lyrics are almost mathematical. So they're organized in syllables and stanzas. And so if you
I just want people
like
to I want people to pay particular attention to these words here because this is a common theme that's come through with some of the best writers that done the best music. Is this the structure of the song matters, and it matters to the AI too. It picks up better if you structure it in a way that makes sense to a song.
yeah, and like if you like the verse, like I try to set it up so that all the verses have the same number of syllables. The chorus has the same number of syllables as the other chorus. So what it'll do is the AI will recognize the patterns and it will compose music around those patterns.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of the best example I can come up with. Uh, like for the web below, if you listen to the verses, they all have the same number of syllables.
Okay.
And not all of my lyrics are, I mean, they're all original, but I've figured out how to reverse engineer language a little bit to type it faster.
Yeah.
So,
Because you've
for
had to be
example,
very deliberate with the way you've learned language because you're dyslexic.
yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it really kind of gives. Yeah, I remember an interview with Bob Dylan. He was talking about how his music is mathematical. It doesn't really fall into one genre or another. And over the years, his music has evolved. His arrangements change. The words stay the same, but his arrangements around the words change.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what's so beautiful about poetry and music is if you're mathematical and you are I don't like the I think the word vague is good, but I really think
Mm.
if you can get it to flow, you can really push the envelope for how many
Like,
genres you can get out of one song.
yeah, really. So you push multiple genres from one song,
Yes.
and you publish those.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I've heard of people doing that. I've heard of people republishing songs before. I've tried it with very like zero luck. I haven't had any luck doing that. But what's the tool that you use? Is it Suno, Udio? I think you mentioned
Yeah.
Suno.
Yeah, I use Suno now. It's the best one. It's for my budget. It's the one that's the most cost effective.
Yeah,
I actually pay for it because I'm prolific. I write so many different songs. I
yeah.
mean,
And to publish it, to be able to publish it, you have to have a paid plan anyway. So
yeah, yeah. And I bought the one. I mean, I never run out of credits, but I also produce a lot of songs. My Suno page has got like 101 songs.
yeah, that's a ton. That's published. Does that not is that's your published songs? That's not the
Yes.
stuff you have on the desktop or whatever. That we'll
Yeah.
say that they're in the trillions. Otherwise, right? Because you do the iterations of it. God, it's such a messy. I know this says that workbench and whatever, but I don't know, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm not organized enough on that to use that workbench. I know some people do, and they say it's a godsend. But I just when I get going, I just start going.
Yeah.
You know.
I know how you feel about that.
Yeah, yeah, and then it gets messy. The only problem with that is when you try looking for it later, it just becomes 10 times the amount of work as if you just put it in the workbench to start with.
Yeah, that's why I try not to. I I try to organize within the workbench as best I can.
Yeah, that's smart. We can't all be that smart, I suppose.
Yeah. Um, I actually have a very interesting process that I use for the musical side of it. Like I write all my lyrics,
Yeah.
but for the musical side of things, I feed bullet points for how I want the song to sound. You know,
Okay.
like
In
like
GPT originally, or
into GBT, and then I ask my chat GBT to use the maximum amount of characters that Suno will allow
yeah.
for
How does
to
that
get
work
the
for you? How does it
oh,
work
it
for me?
works.
Because well, for me, when I say look the maximum amount of characters, and I say the maximum amount of characters, it'll give me 1,000 more characters and way over the top explanations instead of abbreviated. I struggle with chat. My chat GPT is kind of a dick sometimes, but if you have luck with that, that's good.
Yeah, I the key with me with the way I communicate with ChatGPT is I try to have conversations with it instead of uh, and I'm always open to its suggestions, and I'm
Yeah.
never afraid to say, let's try this, because ChatGPT has so much data to pull from. You might see an idea for an arrangement that I haven't thought of yet. I might put in that maybe a piano melody to begin the song would be a good way to do it,
Mm.
and maybe it'll suggest a saxophone, and I'll think to myself, you know what, that actually sounds really good. Let's give that a
I've had that
try.
happen. I've had that happen and gone and published stuff. I wanted a trumpet and got a saxophone, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. It ended up working.
Yeah, and I mean, artists will tell you that some of the best songs are actually accidents. Like the best cuts for some of the most classic songs had, quote unquote, mistakes in them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's the thing I'm discovering, right? And we need to discover, because a lot of us are really new to this creative process of it. Like I said, I played music all through high school, other people's stuff. I always thought making music was something that really weird people did, or people that weren't me, whatever. And I didn't hang around with people that were doing music. This is what I like this, because we can sort of share processes and all that stuff. And initially when I started creating these songs, it would start off with this, and I'd have like I mostly start off with my own chorus, and I build around that, and I have ChatGPT sort of help me with that, and then I do maybe a basic iteration through Suno, and then I say no, those lyrics sound really freaking lame. It doesn't work. It's too obvious, and then I'll manually sort of change things, and then like you said, the song starts to evolve, and then I was initially thinking, am I some sort of fraud because the song itself isn't what I intended for in the first place, right? And it's interesting. It's interesting that you said, and I had a lot of like trolls and stuff like in my head at the time, like, oh, the musicians, and they're gonna think I'm fake, and if they knew that I changed my song from what it intended to be initially, they're gonna, that's more proof that I'm some sort of fraud, which is just bullshit anyway. And I got over that kind of quickly, but I sort of started to love the fact that it would start off as one thing, and then the more time you spend with that song, the more it becomes part of part of you. I won't say that's anyways. I don't want to sound too lame or whatever. It sort of becomes more personal to you the more time you spend with it, and the more you develop it, and the more you change it, and then it becomes sort of more than what you intended to do, because the thought process behind the song itself. This is for me anyway, and I'm assuming for you too, because of what you just said.
Yeah.
You have a song, and you have an idea, and you start processing the song, and then because you're spending so much time with the song, particularly if you're making videos with this song too, you're spending so much time with that song that whatever subject matter you're addressing within that song, you start thinking even more deeply about whatever that subject matter is. So then you start being even better at adding that subject matter in a way, and because you want other people to understand what you're getting across, and hopefully not too obviously, you want people to think. You start really building out that song, and the ones I spend more time with, and I've changed the most from where it started, are the ones I'm most proud of. One of them is called the Epic Collab song, right? And I started thinking about. I know this isn't my interview, but I just want to show an example about stuff that sort of bounced back and forth. But it started off with, I thought it was kind of funny where, whenever you hear about these famous people and they're talking about their collabs, it's always like, oh, we've known each other, we've been friends, but we never crossed paths for 20. We were finally in a studio at the same time, and all this time when our paths aligned, and we made this collab and all that. So I thought it was funny about if I made a song literally about 12-year-old boys who've probably only known each other for 4 years, about all the years they've been together and making a collab, and the song was literally a song about making a collab and how awesome they are, that they finally got to, even though they probably go to school every day together, they finally made this epic collab song. But it was built over like days and days. I'm like, I love these kids and what they're doing, That was great. But it's fictional, but the idea behind it was really fun, and I like doing it, so.
Yeah. Honestly, my process is very, very fast
Okay.
for some reason, and usually when inspiration strikes, for me, I wrote my favorite song on my channel is called "Looking in the Mirror." It's very introspective, but I wrote the lyrics for that in about like 15 minutes. I don't really, I can't really take credit for that. I always feel like I downloaded that from
Yeah.
wherever the higher
Sometimes people
power
do.
is.
That's totally normal too. I get a lot of that. Yeah, and dreams, driving,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and sometimes ChatGPT does help speed the process up for me. But like one of my favorite projects that I've worked on was something that came to me in a dream. Uh, the song it's actually a rock opera.
Yeah.
Like it's a full, it's almost like a movie. It's like 12 full tracks mixed together as one story.
And that's on your channel?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. We'll check it. We'll link to the channel below if you want it. What's the name
Yeah.
of it?
It's called Children of the Fifth World,
Yeah.
and it's a hybrid between like 4 or 5 different genres,
Yeah, okay.
and it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Well,
But
let's talk about. Oh, go. Go.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to talk because one of the topics as well is I couldn't tell if your stuff's faith based stuff because some of it seems to be, and some of it seems fantasy based as well. Like I see some of your videos, I've seen portals and all that in your videos, and there was one that sort of looked like Jesus, but I wasn't really sure because of the way that it was going. But the message behind it seemed to be, choosing paths and not necessarily the way you feel on changing a path or the path you went towards. Tell us a bit
Yeah,
about your spirituality, or if it is, or if I'm missing the
yeah,
mark on that.
yeah. Yeah, my spirituality came to a forefront with COVID.
Yeah.
There, when I was in the hospital and my oxygen levels were really low, um, I I wouldn't call it a near-death experience because it wasn't as profound some of the ones that you would as some of the ones you would find on YouTube.
Mm.
But I did have a long moment of reflection where I was like, you know, I'm right now. I've been to this point. I have been living my life more to please others instead of following my passion and
Mm.
doing what I want to do and living on my terms. And one of the things and that's when I started researching spirituality and started um, listening to spiritual podcasts. And I am not a religious person. I'm not a churchgoer by any means, but I do have a strong belief in a higher power. And really, my life took a huge turn for the better when I started trying to live a life of purpose and meaning.
Mm.
And my music is a reflection of that, I would say. And I do believe that we're all here for a reason. And I think I do see a psychic medium on a regular basis, and they do help. Sorry about that.
No,
My
that's all right.
Wi-Fi had a surge.
No, I saw that. That's fine. I build technical issues into the podcast as part of what it is. Well, we'll just continue on.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and I've had time to think about a reply to this too. So, you said you now you live your life with purpose, and you see a psychic medium that sort of helps you with that.
Yeah. What she does is she helps she gives me advice that is based on like metaphysical stuff. Like communicates with past loved ones and things of that nature, and just gives me a perspective on life, gives me a different perspective on life
Yeah.
and which direction I should go. And she's actually the one who she's a musician herself. She has a degree in music theory from UCLA,
Yeah.
and is the one who actually encouraged me to reach out to you
Really? Okay. Well.
and really get my music as much exposure as possible, and also tell my story.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting story. Like I said, I was pumped. I was pumped because you're an everyday person, sort of doing this stuff, and that's who I want to have on this. If I have a million followers, I still want to have everyday people on this because people are going to connect to you. There's going to be a certain percentage of people that watch this and connect to you. And like, I could be that dude. That means I can make AI music too, and I can do that stuff. And I like psychic mediums too. Let me just talk a little bit about purpose, right? Because most of us grow up to a point where we're living the purpose that our parents set out for us, and we completely oblivious to what our own wants and needs are, other than to please our parents or to play out whatever it is that our parents put in our head. And that's happened to me right into my 40s. I'm in 50 now. I know I look like very handsome and good for 50, but I'm 50 now, believe it or not. So back in 2000 myself, 1999, 2000, like New Year's, I went to this place called this deliberate thing to find my life's purpose, called Vision Quest, and it's run by a guy out of California, but he also lives actually near me now because I just moved out here in Australia in Queensland. And it was things like 8 people. We basically flew to Bali and we spent like 9 days going to purpose, right? And it's not the point. I'll put the link down below if I remember to put the link below. And it's not about to spruik his Vision Quest thing, although I think everybody should do it. But the point is, whether it's a psychic medium or to go to a Vision Quest, at some point, the most healthy thing you can do is find what your purpose is. And a lot of times, like, it takes physical work and intervention of someone else to say, like, look, man, you need to do this and this is how, because most of us don't know how. But like everything I do now, my purpose has sort of changed from the workbooking, because that was like initial stuff and things can change and things can change. But what I do now is like, is this fulfilling? Is this something fulfilling for me? And if not, like, obviously the stuff you have to do, like paying taxes, doesn't fucking feel fulfilling, right? Like, I can't wait to write out to that check to the IRS. That's fantastic. Well, getting it done does. It's like it's being done for this year is good. I can't wait to give up that money. But like when you stuff that you choose to do, like if you go on the path of doing what you do, right? In my opinion, this channel is fitting a purpose. It's giving you people like you a platform to talk. It gives it and highlight who you are as a normal person that other people can identify with and maybe feel inspired. Maybe there's other people that have got COVID that are sitting in bed going, man, I don't know why I'm alive right now. Like, I've been at that point in my life. Like, why am I even here? What's even the point, right? And so many people, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of other segments on this too, about like, because I have a lot of information that people send me and life stories and stuff that people don't have access to and they don't see. So the people that bag the shit out of this stuff, that say like, oh, it's all fake and bullshit and all that, and they're just putting people down. Like, I know the real stories behind why people do this. And you're one of the, a great example of someone that's doing it. Like, you've had an issue, you're finding purpose through it, you're finding purpose through other things, you're able to move on, it feels good, you're into music now, you're into music theory, it makes you feel good, you're doing piano, all that stuff. This is the kind of shit I want people to see, and this is the kind of shit that I want. It doesn't have to be that. Whatever in this space makes you feel good, that's what I want people to do.
Yeah, and I will also say that I am fortunate that I have a supportive family, and I'm very grateful for the family, who really did a great job of helping me through my medical issues, during and after my first COVID case, and they provided me with some resources that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So, and that's, I don't want to take away from from people who are struggling out there right now,
People struggle
because,
at different levels, but people struggle, and people
you know,
personally, you feel a struggle as you feel it, not related to how someone else is feeling it.
exactly. And, but all I can say is living a life of purpose and meaning is something that has it has served me well in the last 2 years that I've really been following that formula, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, and I would love to talk for hours on that particular thing because I never used to have dreams. That my dream of this channel is just to be something that everybody loves, right? And I have a goal of like my initial big goal is like 20,000 subscribers, not for the subscriber count, but it's to show us a bit of success. If 20,000 people are getting something out of what I'm saying, like that's a goal, right? And it's possible I never hit that goal, but to like you're saying, a purpose and dreams and all that, to have them and to actively work towards them is so fulfilling on its own. Like if you don't have that, you're waking up every day and you're going to a job and you're coming home and having dinner and you're watching TV and you're going to bed. That's your life. If you have a purpose and a goal, like if there's a strong reason why you have those purpose and goals, there's a strong chance that you're going to hit them. But even in the hustle to work at them is fulfilling every single day. Like I'm way more of a positive person now than I was before that. And I'll talk more about that in future sort of things. There's specific things I can zero in on. But you're right, man. Have a purpose. And whether it's through a psychic medium or a vision quest or you're reading self-help books and you're actually taking notes and doing it, those things and a lot of that stuff starts with AI music. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, and you said it very well. If my music can help one person feel better about themselves and maybe, help them find their path, then I've done my job. I part of the reason I only have 43 subscribers right now
I thought it was
is
46.
I
Let's not take away the last three and insult them.
yeah, it's I mean, yeah, getting subscribers is good, and I'm looking forward to expanding my channel and my reach a little bit and even more. But I just love interacting with people who appreciate my music,
Yeah, I know it.
and
That's why I do my
and
features, man. That's why I do my features.
yeah,
Send people to those channels, have them comment because I know people are, ooh, someone's like the feeling's real, man. The feeling is real.
yes, that connection, especially for somebody who does have some physical limitations and in terms of being able to go out in the world and get those connections is just such a healing thing. And I love, I mean, I've got 3 or 4 people that are glued to my channel every day. And I always make a note to uh, show my appreciation for them as much as possible and interact.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not as good as it because I'm getting a few more. And every day I carry guilt with me that I don't name those names every day. But I do appreciate them as well. Like we definitely do. Like I'll tell you. So these are the sort of authentic things that happen. I'll tell you a story, and I'm probably going to tell it when I talk on Instagram too. These are the people that were not right. I live near the beach. I dropped my family off at the beach. I had to run back and get the dogs. So I was going to pick them up and go to another beach. In the meantime, there was 2 Instagrammers, beautiful people, right, sitting at a table, Instagramming about living a healthy life. And then my daughters tell me about this. She saw them. They're talking. They're beautiful people. They stopped. Like, okay, and they both looked at their smoothie shakes and they go like, "Do you even like this?" And they're like, "No, it's disgusting." They picked it up and threw it in the bin and walked off and did another thing. It was a complete. And apparently, after they were really close together, cuddly, and then they were walking 6 feet apart, didn't want to be near each other after the Instagram thing, right? Like we don't want to be that. We authentically want to be who we are on camera, share who we are through our music, and to our best of ability, appreciate the people that we're talking to. And that's I think what we both want on that, and especially you mentioned previously, and I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon, by the way, but you mentioned
Sure.
pre and this is the thing because you said you connected to Brianna, who I connected to in an interview previously, who gets a lot of mentions, way more than she thinks she does. When I'm having conversations, and she mentioned that, or I may have mentioned, I think that she mentioned to me she was an empath. I'm going to do the same to you. You mentioned to me pre-interview that you're an empath. Talk a bit about what that is and why that's sort of important to the music and the way you're sort of connecting to your audience.
Yeah, I actually discovered this. Again, it all kind of loops back to COVID. An empath, from my perspective, is somebody who can feel the energy and the emotions of others.
Mm,
So that's part of the reason I try to stay away from negative influences on social media.
yeah,
I try to stay away from things that would make me feel angry, because not only am I feeling the anger that I'm feeling the anger and the hurt of everybody else watching.
mm, mm,
So what I try to do is I try to, like, when I'm feeling a positive emotion, or if I'm feeling inspired to create something as positive as possible, I want my to channel my energy into that music to help other people become more comfortable feeling their emotions and help them heal.
yeah,
Uh, and it's funny. I actually got the name Candyman Vibes because of my empathic skills. I John Candy was my favorite actor growing up
yeah. It was right up the top
because
five for me when I was growing up, for sure.
oh my gosh, he was such a gentle, lovable guy, and I tried to, and within my content and my music, I'm either I try to channel that same energy into how I interact with other people. I was very inspired by him.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know if it's empathic. I tend to get the same thing from social media and try to stay away from it. But you try to counter that by putting good stuff in, because if somebody
Exactly.
does, if people don't, then that's all you're going to get is the negative stuff that goes through. Look, Jared, we'll try to wrap this up a little bit because I find
Sure.
that when it goes over an hour, I have the least amount of views, which means like people see that it's an hour and a half and they go, maybe I'll catch the next one, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want people not to like I have a short
Right.
attention span, so I understand. Look, I'll give you a chance to talk about anything particular that you want to plug, if it's your
Yeah.
family, your projects, anything like that.
Yeah. I'm actually working on two or three more rock operas. It's AI music with original lyrics, and it's basically like it's more like Children of the Fifth World. It's a very innovative project. Um, it's definitely something you want to take in spurts. You don't want to take it all in at once, because it's 43 minutes long. It's like a 43-minute rock opera performance
Yeah.
with AI generated visuals to kind of enhance the vibe.
That's awesome. I'll have to check out your other one too. So I'll say, Jared, thanks a lot for joining us, dude. Like, I look forward to everyone. Like, it's like Christmas for me, right? Like every time a podcast is about to start, I go, who am I going to talk to today? What are we going? And these have been really good conversations. I've actually really enjoyed it. It's flowed quite well. Hopefully, and I know people will connect to you because I have as well. So, if you'd
Sure.
like to. If you'd like to be considered for the podcast, reach out to me through the website. There's a get in touch section at aidiy.tech. In there, get in touch. There's a song submission thing. So if you want to submit your songs for me to review and possibly feature, go to aidiy.tech/contact. Fill out the form there. if you leave your personal story in there, I eat that shit up, man. That's most likely the people that are going to be featured. And I find most of my podcast interview people through there too. So, Jared, thanks a lot for joining us. I appreciate that. I love the stuff we talked about. And yeah,
You're most welcome.
yeah. And we'll catch you
Thank
in
you
the
for
next
having
one.
me.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
All
Jared.
right.
Cheers. Excellent.